Welcome back to my channel. What is this? What's that? What's that? Okay. So, it has been a good long while since I have done a video, and I wanted to talk about why. This is gonna be a quick video, um, so just put that out there. So, basically, the sun is like, should I close the curtain? And I won't have any light. Close it part way. I feel like the sun is just washing me out a little bit. Anyways, so I have not made a video in a good long while. And that is really due to the fact that I've done videos about this like over the past few years about being burnt out and I'm just not feeling connected with my spirituality. And the same still holds true now. But what I have really, really come to realize, and I have realized this before, and I might have talked about it, is that I noticed a big change in me, um, my personality, my state of calm, things like that, and they have all taken a big hit. And when I go back to it, um, my spirituality had a big influence over the rest of my life. Meaning that just the everyday things that I used to do that were spiritual to me um, played a part in how I dealt with day to day things, like everyday life things, how I would go about processing of them, how I would respond to them. Um, I have not meditated in years. Um, I no longer work with my tarot and oracle decks. Mainly, my oracle decks is what really I would use to kind of, I guess, I don't want to say censor myself, but I would consult with them pretty regularly. I would do, like at least one card drawers or things like that. Sometimes three card drawers. And I have not been over the last few months. At one point, I wanted to really delve deep into tarot to really learn about the tarot. And I've stopped doing that. I have not been making incense. I actually have not even been doing altar work. My altar is just like there. Every now and again, I mean, I do talk to the goddess. Um, I still do struggle with my connection to the God, although um, the aspects of the God that I connect most with is with um, Thoth and Ganesh, which makes sense to me because if you researched them, they are very similar, though there are different pantheons. There's quite a few similarities in them. Thoth is the scribe, amongst other things, but so is Ganesh in effect. He's a thinker, he's an obstacle remover, things like that. And I just have not been working with the deity like I used to. And I have been feeling the effects of that. So I have a few ideas just swirling around in my head on how I really, what do I, 1 minute please, go inside. Kids. Okay, so I have a few ideas swirling around in my head on how to tackle this. Well, I don't want to say tackle, really to try to really reconnect. And in the past, I've said I wanted to just go back to basics. And that is something that, yes, I do want to do, but I need to also figure out why going back to basics has not worked in the past. So I have just a few things, and I've really felt disconnected because when I was working, I did meditate every morning up until near the end. It was just real stressful working there after a while, and I really was beginning to not like working where I was working at, um, just because so much was asked of me, which was fine. Okay, so I was a secretary at a university for a department college office, and the issue wasn't that so much was asked of me. It was the lack of appreciation for what I was doing, not understanding the depth of the work that I was doing, and not being recognized for it. And it was to the point where I was actually doing computer programming for our website for the university. Every department had to have someone that maintained this website that provided students with a way to see their classes at a glance, their grades, their transcripts, um, to plan for future semesters and things like that. And I literally was programming it for our entire college. So it's the university, and then within the university, we had different colleges, like the College of Arts and Science, Health and Human Services, blah, blah, blah. And then within those are different departments. So I did for our college, which was Health and Human Services. So every department that fit under that, I programmed it. I wrote the programming code for it. It's hard work. All right. Okay. The girls had to take the puppy out for a walk. So, anyways, neither here nor there, because I feel like now I'm just ranting about my own job. Doesn't matter. I just wasn't feeling appreciated, and I was feeling a lot of weight on myself emotionally, physically, and spiritually. And I just kind of lost my connection along the way. So, and then after that, I wound up quitting because we were moving to a whole nother state. And we decided that I would just be a stay at home mom because childcare is a mother. And I just, not that I don't like being a stay at home mom. I do. I like that the girls are not up to being left to someone else to watch. And my husband gets to come home to a cooked meal and things like that. It's just, it was a bit more work than what I thought it would be. And it is more stressful to me. But again, just my spirituality just took a hit. And then I just kind of had more questions swirling around in my head about deity. And while I am deeply connected to the goddess Isis, and I don't think that would ever change, and she will, I believe, she will always be my matron deity. Um, and it's not that I don't work with other deities outside of Isis. I don't question that, but I kind of have been questioning, or had been, and I really haven't come to a consensus for myself, I don't think, as far as what is deity. Is it the aspect of the whole? Like, I've believed for the longest that the god and goddess are aspects, two halves of a whole, and that the goddess aspect is embodied, has different embodiments. So the different goddesses embody kind of like different aspects or attributes of the goddess. Same thing with the god. And then along the way, and I've seen people kind of just like, well, these are just more archetypes, or energies, not necessarily actual deities. And so I don't know where I come from with that. And so that might play a part too. I don't know. But I know that lately, and by lately I mean like the last few months, I have really been feeling a call to learn about um, Persephone. And I find it very hard to find good information about Persephone. Like, you will have no problem finding about deities like Isis, Bast, or Bastet, um, or if you want to use Kemetic names for them, many of the more popular Greek and Roman deities. Um, Celtic, like, obviously like Zeus, Hera, Demeter, you'll find a lot of stuff. Odin, Thor, uh, the Morrigan, Hecate, things like that. You'll find a whole lot of stuff on them. And I just find that that's not the same with Persephone. And so in my research, I'm just looking for things that I would connect to. And there's a lot that I just don't connect with as far as information that I'm finding about her. There are those that I do connect with. For me, Persephone, a lot of information almost, it's like it paints her or puts her in this light as a victim that I just don't feel her that way. I feel her more empowered than that. And this book has nothing to do with paganism, but it is a series that I have been reading over the years called the Dark Country series. And um, you do get a lot of the Greek pantheon in there, as well as Sumerian, and she makes up her own pantheons. And I love how Persephone is portrayed in her story. Persephone is a very strong person. Um, Almost like, I wouldn't say she has Hades wrapped around her finger, but that it could come off that way. They're more partners than anything else. And that's kind of how to me, that is how she presents herself to me. So, um, yeah, so that's something that I'm going to delve more into, learning about. But yeah, I do have some ideas on trying to reconnect, and I'm going to try to keep more on this channel, more information about that journey. And then I'll be sharing more things along the way. Also with this whole pandemic that's been happening, and my girls are home. Well, my youngest doesn't start school actually until this fall, if school starts, whatever. They're saying it's going to start in fall here. So um, my oldest has been home. So that's even left less time for me and myself. Um, One of the things that I have been doing to kind of just reconnect with myself, not necessarily spiritually or anything like that, but with myself, is um, I have been taking nightly baths. It's my me time. I light a candle, and even like I might even use my Kindle, watch videos and things like that. But it's just my time, and I'm like I'm in this tub until I'm like a prone. That's like an hour at least. Um, so, and that has been very helpful for me, having that time. I've noticed. So I think mentally, I'm coming to become, how am I trying to say this? I am getting to a point with taking this time for myself. I'm getting to a point where I feel like I might be ready to, I don't want to say dive back into spirituality, but just inch back in. I don't want to pressure myself. I don't want to make my like set up these goals that might be unattainable or a little difficult for myself. I'm going to take it one step at a time. Whereas before, I just have all these goals, like, okay, I want to do this, and I'm going to do this to this for this, and this is going to happen, blah blah blah. I'm not going to do that anymore. So, um, yeah. So I hope you'll stick around for my continued journey and to see where it takes me and to share in my process. And I would love to share in anyone else's process, and let me know what's going on with you and your spirituality. If you have been burnt out or disconnected, have you reconnected? How have you, things like that. So anyways, thank you for watching, and blessed be.